Welcome to the channel. I am Ladewaybac, and today I'm going to go over some combos and strategies with Baiken that'll help you crush your opponents. Now first I'm going to go over the punch buttons. Now her standing punch, what I like about it is it's rather low, so opponents can't duck it. Like with a lot of characters you can duck their regular punch, like so. So I prefer it, and it's the same speed as a crouching punch. So the only reason I would see to use it is if somebody is doing something that's high and you want to go low and counter that. But otherwise, just stick to regular standing punch. Our punch is able to cancel into all of our command normals. So basically our 6K and our 6 heavy slash, so all of them. So we got our forward punch. That'll cancel together. And let's say we have Kai do hit a punch when we attack him. We can get a counter hit if we delay the 6P for a split second. And also, well, if you want to use the heavy slash, it's gonna get countered, so I wouldn't bother because the block stun is kind of long. But most of your opponents aren't gonna be mashing the punch button anyways, so I guess you can do that. And also, if you're looking for something that's more guaranteed, then do your forward K, and you will always get a counter hit. Now next we have our slashes. Now first I'm going to go over the close slash, as it's our most important. It's one of the most important things you should have you should do if you're playing Baiken, because you have 3 options you can do out of this. You can go for an overhead, you can go for a grab afterwards, or you can go low. So we can get some pretty good damage off of all those options, because we get a tether, which is we're gonna have a bunch of setups on this, but I'll get into that a little later. And with our low, we have this basic combo here. And with our overhead, we can get a decent combo if we use our meter. Next we have our standing slash and our crouching slash. Now these both have a good range to them. I find myself getting a lot of counter hits with the standing slash, and yeah, usually if I'm trying to just get in on an opponent or just get a few pokes in, agitate them a little, I just go for the crouching slash. And what I do with both of these is if I land them, I go for a Cabaret, either the claw version or the tether version. Either one works fine. Like, I guess it would depend on the matchup. Now, if we have somebody that we want to tether to as much as possible, then we'll always go for this. Unless they're jumping immediately afterwards. If they're a jumper, then we'll just go for the claw version since it comes out faster. And then we could recover faster and not get jumped in on. Next up, we have heavy slashes. Now, our standing heavy has a fairly decent range to it. Not as much as the slash. As you see, the slash, we take a step forward and it hits from the starting position. So step forward, slash hits, step forward, heavy slash misses. Okay, or maybe not. There we go. But if you take one more, then it will hit. So it's 2, and so they're basically similar in ranges. So you could get a pretty good counter hit if you're fishing for it. And if you're going against something like an Eno, or somebody's gonna low profile you, like for instance we have Kai, he can do his little slidey slide, and we just heavy him, get a nice little counter hit off of that. So that's what I find its best uses for. So for opponents who are going low, so if we need an option for if they're high up or going low, then we have something that could cover both options. And also it serves as a wall bounce. So if we are doing our combo off of our low heavy, we can do the heavy slash and get the wall bounce, just to extend the combo a little further. Next up, we have our not our standing heavy slash, but our forward heavy slash and our crouching heavy slash. So I have Kai jumping after this, because what I like to do is I like to go for the tether after I hit both of these, and I'm gonna get into why, but here, let me show you. So let's say, well, he's gonna get hit by that. So let's say we do the heavy. Well, I'll get the perfect distance. So close slash, let him jump. So now he's in the distance after close slash. So now we do our 6 HS and we go for the tether. But he can jump that though. And that's what I prefer to do, but he can jump that in that situation, right? So if we get him in the same spot and we know he's gonna jump after that, we just go for the claw version, and that's gonna be a hit. Because he's gonna, at the same time he's gonna hit is when he's gonna be able to jump, which will leave him open to get hit by the claw. Also same with heavy slash. The claw will hit. Unless they're like really far away, but if you're just medium range, you should be able to get the hit. And the tether, they'll still be able to jump it. So if they're jumping, we go for the claw. Now I'm gonna tell you why I choose the tether option after the 6HS and the 2HS over the claw, because the claw may be more reliable, especially if we're looking for damage. But the thing is, if we get a counter hit, then we could get a tether right afterwards, and their opponent is still in the air, which is why I choose that option. Because when you get a counter hit, if you do the 2HS after you hit the opponent, because I have him doing the punch here, and the same thing with 2HS. So we get a count, if they're mashing, we're gonna get a counter hit. So do a combo right here. Oh, no, oh, let me do that better. And that's half his health right there off the counter hit. So that's why I like to throw out the tether, because I could get a lot of damage off of that. And also you could do the same thing with the 6HS, except it's going to be a little different. I'll show you why. Because that part's going to miss. And that normally would be a problem, but in Baiken's case it's not. Because if you hold the button down, you'll get right behind the opponent. And here, hold on a second. So we're gonna have Kai do a crouching punch on wake up. So let's say he wants to wake up buttons, right? We're gonna hold down the button. And go behind him and attack immediately afterwards. And then we can get a combo on wake up. So if he wants to hit a button, if he wants to jump on wake up or do anything, we get the counter hit. And I'll show you again. And look at all that damage. If they don't burst out of that and we get another setup and keep going, that's like 80% of his health. Now, I should warn you, I thought that it was you had the advantage there, but as it turns out, if they wake up and grab, that you will get caught. So where's the, there we go. So if we do it and if they're grabbing on wake up, we will get hit. But we can counter that too. So if they do know about this, then we do have an option to stop it. We jump, and then we can land and get a counter hit. I missed there, but yeah, you already know that if they grab and you jump, you can come down with a counter hit, and then you can just combo all over again. So in another way, you could keep it going if you have a read on the grab. But as of now, it's pretty early with Baiken, so I haven't found a single person who's been ready for that or even knows they can grab out of that. And if they do know, then that's when you start jumping, and then you come down with attack, and then you get your counter hit, and then you continue your combos. Now next we have our kicks. I will start with the 2K, the low kick. I like to follow that up with the 2D, as that's the only reason I see to use it over the standing kick, so we can just get multiple lows. So you know your opponent might slip up, and then you can catch him with the Tagami Gaisi, the mat, for a little burst of damage. But also, let's have our opponent block here. See if I have the counter hit on. Yeah. So if he blocks all of that, we can just use our mat and go for a counter hit. I find that works rather often, because it kind of looks like it just ends there when she's falling on the ground, and you know, somebody might not see it coming. And then if you do get a counter hit, let me show you a nice combo we can do afterwards. Well, this combo is more focused like if they're closer towards the wall, but if we get a counter hit off the mat, then this is the combo I like to do if they're close to the wall. And also you can throw in an extra kick in there if that's something you wanted to do. It makes it a little harder for me, that's why I don't really do it. And it gets the wall splat earlier. So I think doing it without the kick might be a little better, if I'm being honest. And yeah, it's even more damage. So yeah, I say just skip over the kick and just go for the air. And that also works too if somebody's like closer to the corner and they come at you in the sky. You could also do it if you land some double hits in the air and you just go for your combo after that. But it's not going to work if they're like right against the wall. So they got to be around this area right here so they could like bounce off the wall as you dash towards them. Alright, next we have our kick and our 6K. Now the kick moves you forward as you do it, and it has a decent range to it. So yeah, this is a really good button to press if you're like in the tethered range. And also it can cancel into all your other command normals just like the punch can. If you do a heavy slash, you're gonna get hit if they try to jab out of it, so keep that in mind. And also, just like with the punch, you get a guaranteed counter if they're doing the punch between the 6K. Now the thing about 6K is you're gonna be looking for this in the tether when you're tethered together. But be careful, like if you do both and go for the mat, you could miss the mat, so you'll be potentially missing out on a combo. So what you want to do is you want to wait a second before you get there. Let her move forward a little bit and then do the mat. So even at max range, wait a little, then go for the mat. So don't do it too early. Never do it too early, because you could possibly miss it. I mean, it's rare, but especially when we're talking about the tether area, you could miss it a lot. Like I was missing it a lot until I like went into training and figured out that all you had to do is just wait a second and let her get in on them, and then you'll be able to land it. So, because like if they're not doing getting countered by it, it's easier to miss. See. So, and let's say they wanted to hit a button when you're doing the mat, then you potentially be missing out on a counter hit. So instead of doing it immediately, wait, let her get close, and then go for it. Don't do it too quick like this. Let her slide in a bit, and then do it. Now for our dust attack. Now, usually I don't go for these the dust attack combos or anything, but this is what I've got so far. Nothing too crazy. Got a kick slash slash. You know, if I do it right. So we got 186 damage on that. Nothing too crazy, but there is something cool that you can do, because if you're tethered, you can just do a completely different combo. Which is 219 damage, which is even better. And that's just me doing slash and dust attack back to back, and then finishing with a double dust attack. So yeah, that's a cool thing that Baiken can do. And the last thing we have, at least for the ground, is our grab. Now the grab is interesting, as we can tether after we do it, and if you hold down the grab, she just stabs them and kicks them. So that's if you don't want to tether to the person. Honestly, I would never throw away the opportunity to go for the setup, so I would never hold the grab button down. So what you want to do is when you get the tether, is you want to jump and do the mat, as they won't be able to do anything, even unless they want to DP. They can DP. Here, I'll show you here. After recovery, what's his DP? What's the name of that? Vapor thrust, right? Yeah, vapor thrust. Okay. But we can block that. So if we think they're gonna DP, we could do the mat, and then we could just you know, just block it if that's what he's gonna do. And the cool thing about this is we could end up on the other side. So and after we do this, we can combo. You know, if I don't mess it up. And we get the same setup as we do before in the previous combo, so we can end up behind them too. So if we could get one grab, we have the potential to take about like 80% of our opponent's health. So we could go front or back and just combo off the opponent, go behind, combo again, maybe Roman cancel. And yeah, we get tons of damage. So if you're getting the grab, I say always go for the tether. Always go, because it's gonna end up being a 50-50, right? And the thing about going on the opposite side is you can jump forward like this and then do the mat afterwards. But like I don't find that to be consistent every time. What I like to do is the tiger knee input, which if you didn't know is you put in the input plus the jump and then you hit the button. So it would be down, it would be 2, 3, 6, and you'd end with 9, and then you'd hit kick, and then just come out in just one motion. So I'd go for that if you want to end up on the other side. I find the tiger knee input to be, you know, more consistent. And also one more thing you could do off the grab, you can kick after you do the grab, and then do a dash and do the overhead attack. Oh my god, why am I missing out so much? You know, it's probably because I don't do this often. And then you end up on the other side. So if you like need that last bit of damage and you know you grab didn't do it for you, just kick, jump, dash, do that. Yo Sozan. I don't remember the name of the move, but it's the air special. Just do that and you'll end up on the other side of them. So it's a good way to finish off your opponent. And if you have some meter, you can just cancel it and just do a combo after that. Next, we have our air normals. Now, just so you know, Baiken jumps pretty high. Like, this is something I've recently noticed. Like, if you look at Kai jump, they're completely different heights. So I haven't compared the jump to all the casts, but she does jump pretty high. Now we have our jumping punch and our jumping kick. You know, it's pretty basic. Like if your opponent's higher than you, the kick is a good option to use. But the punch is basically like the other jump punches, but it's all about the slash, man. The jump slash. Now slash is like one of the better air normals in this game, as it goes down. It's like it's meant to be a jump in, as it goes slightly down and has a really good range to it. And also we could all use our Yo Sanzin and then proceed to combo afterwards. So now the key to this is you want to, when you jump in and use your Yo Sanzin, we'll just call it the overhead. When you use the overhead, you should delay it, because you could get a counter hit off the delay. And you know, if you do it too early, then you could get countered by your opponent. Let me show you. If we'll make Kai block, counter attack, off of the block, crouching punch. So we can do it quick, but then that's not gonna do anything for us, as we'll still be vulnerable to grab, or you know, maybe he might try to attack us or something. So you wanna space it out and get yourself a counter. So always space it out. Don't do it quick like that. Wait to the last second and just do it then. And then get your counter hit, get your combo, keep it going, and get your damage. But be sure to spam this. Like, this is the best way for a Baiken to get in. Like, obviously they can anti-air you, but that's when you just switch up the strategy and start going for like maybe like a long distance low like that, because this has a lot of range to it. Or just going in with the claws and, you know, do the low and then get the tether. And then once you get the tether, you don't have to worry about closing the gap, as you know, the rope will do it for you. But yeah, if you can and you get the opportunity, just go for the jump in. And you know, don't forget to delay it. Delaying it is very important. You get a lot of counters doing that. So, and if once people get used to Baiken, and you know, maybe somebody's like expecting that now, then you don't have to do it afterwards. You can just land and then go for a grab afterwards. So switch it up, man. The thing about Baiken is you don't want to be readable. You don't want somebody to just know what you're gonna do, because there's so many things you can just switch up about her. So never let your opponent feel safe, is basically what I'm trying to say. Next we have our jumping heavy slash. Now as soon as you hit the heavy slash button, she's always in this animation, which is kind of a cool thing. You can hit your opponent up high, so it's always in effect until you land, which is a cool thing about it. And if you have a jumping opponent and you're gonna catch him, like I know I showed you the combo where you bounce him off the wall. If you do the air to air, maybe I'll show you again. So that's an option. You can go for the air to airs, but you can also just do something more basic. If you're not close to the wall, you have this to do. So you can just do your slash and then into your heavy slash. And also, if you want to make it more guaranteed, you can just do the mat, and then proceed to get your combo afterwards. So you just run up a little bit after you do the mat, and not miss it like I do, and then get your combo that way. So I say do the mat after the 2 attacks, because it's more guaranteed, and you just gotta run up a little and then catch them with your close slash. And I've already showed you the combos for the air to airs with how this the jumping dust attack can bounce them off the wall. But if we were talking jumping dust, you have the combos already. But it's also good for air to air situations, as our jump slash does go down, so it's good for grounded opponents. But if they're in the air, just do your jumping dust attack, as it blows her back, so it's kind of safe in a sense, and it has a good range to it, and it does some fairly decent damage. And I like to use this for Gold Lewis. I fought a Gold Lewis recently, and you know how he has a superior air to air with his jump slash, but using that with Baiken, it takes away a lot of his game plan. It forces him to have to run at you on the ground, as I can just keep jumping, and you just keep jumping and doing your dust attack. So it's very good, very effective against Gold Lewis. So if you're up against a Gold Lewis, or somebody who likes to jump a lot in general, or has to jump, then I suggest that you spam that move, or spam jumping dust attack. Alright, now to the special moves. First up we have Tatami Gaishi. We'll just call that the mat, as it's easier to say. Now it's a launcher, but I've already showed you what to do off the counter hit, or at least something you can do. And you already seen it in combos, like where I use it like this. And I showed you, I'm just doing this as a refresher, Go over to the corner, there we go. How you can do the heavy slash and then do the claw afterwards. So I already showed you those things, so I have a few other things I could tell you about. Usually I find in the corner, a lot of opponents tend to wanna, when you get in the corner, let's say they're blocking your chains, usually they want to get out of the corner. So a lot of people tend to jump and dash afterwards. So what I like to do is, if they're blocking my strings, I'll just jump back and throw out the mat. It'll hit, or I could I could hit them in the sky with it, and then get a combo like that. So if I jump back and then they decide to jump, I can just run up and get a combo. And if I can't run up and get the close slash, I just do a 2S instead, a crouching slash. And just if I catch it and just do something like that, knock him off the wall, then go for a grappling hook afterwards. So nothing too crazy, but it's something to think of if you don't want your opponent to escape the corner. And get him with that, and then you could apply your pressure once again. So that's something to think about. And also something cool that I found is, if you throw your grappling hook and you hit him like that, every time you finish this combo, you should jump, dash, and do your mat afterwards, because it will land and they'll be forced to block that, or use a DP in which you could block the DP, because it's basically a safe jump, and it has a hit alongside with it. So every time you end with that, always throw out the mat. Always do it. Jump, mat, then combo. And if it's blocked, something I like to do, this is personal. Well, I guess I can't. Well, no. I'm not gonna make it too difficult. I do this, jump, hit the mat, and when they block it, I just run and go for a grab. because the block stun is so low that they most of the times won't be expecting to grab, and then I get us all chained together. So that's something I like to go for. So grappling hook, knockdown, mat, think about a grab, and then, and if they're getting hit by it, then do your combo. Next we have Cabaret. Now we'll start with the heavy version first. Now it's this move right here, little claw that pulls you in, and then we have a follow-up to the attack. And as you know, we can already hold it and go behind our opponent, but don't do this too often. This is dangerous and you will be grabbed, just like when Leo tries to go behind you. Like, I've trained myself that I see a Leo do that, I end up grabbing him. So it's probably going to be the same way with Baiken. So this is not something I would throw out randomly. If anything, in a set, just throw it out at least just once, if any, And we don't necessarily have to do the follow-up. We could change the timing of it and wait it out so we can catch our opponent off guard, or we just do regular attacks. They don't have to know that we're not going to follow up with it, and just go for a regular combo. Or if they give you enough time, you just run up and grab them. So you don't really have to do the follow-up is basically what I'm saying. You got to mix it up and be unpredictable. I find myself seeing people just guard a lot, waiting for the follow-up. So I just keep putting pressure on them, building up that gauge, getting them scared to hit a button, getting a grab like that, just switch it up. They don't have to know what you're gonna do. And also if they're hitting a button, because they have the advantage here. If they block your claw, they have the advantage. So you could even throw out a jab, they have the advantage. So what you could do is, I'll just show you just so you can actually see it. So I'll try to jab him. I'll have him do his crouching punch. So I'll pull him in, try to jab. I can't do nothing, right? I just get the counter. You can see the counter in the right corner. I get hit. So what we could do is, if he's somebody who likes to jab after that, and like he doesn't think we're gonna do the follow-up, we just parry that. So it's all about the mind games. We gotta switch it up. And we gotta know what our opponent is doing. So if like a lot of people I just see they just block, so I just attack them and then go for another one and just keep going, and then I'll throw the follow-up every now and then. And when they start to mash out of it, that's when I go for this. And if let's get them to stop doing that. If they block and you do the follow-up, they'll see you're open like that. They'll see your sword bounce off. That's a good time to parry, because most people tend to attack you after that. So bounce off, do the parry, and get your counter hit. And once they learn off of that, they probably won't hit a button, and that's when you hit a button. So Baiken, a lot of it is about the mind games, especially when it comes to the hooks, the grappling hook and the claw one and the tether. Now next up we have the Cabaret, but the tether version. This is what we do the same motion but with slash. Now this is my favorite because it brings your opponent right to you, right? Depending on the distance, you don't know how close they're gonna be. Like you'll know once you've used Baiken for a while, and so if you're like this close, of course they'll be right next to you. And then when they're right next to you, like if they block it, we're on even terms. So let me show you. Go back to counter attack, crouching punch. So this is neutral. So when we do it, this is neutral. Like the claw version, they have the advantage when they block, but when you hit with the tether, it's neutral. So if they are gonna jab, I'm just messing this up. Clash, and then do your own thing afterwards. But that's not gonna happen too often. I find a lot of times that people don't hit buttons here, and because I think a lot of them are scared of the parry. And if they are hitting buttons, then go ahead and parry them. And also be aware, like if you're like max distance, they'll be very far, like even out of the slash range. So we'll get them to stop counter-attacking here. So always know the distance, and like the thing is about the distance is you want to know what move you're gonna do. So if we're at this distance, I usually go for the kick. Well, I guess that was the wrong distance to do that. So this would be the kick, and then go for this and look for the combo, right? Because if we're tethered, as you already know, we get this knock up, and then we're getting like a whole combo after that since they're tethered to us, so we get a lot more damage. And if we're like max range, we do the forward kick here. Like most of the times they'll be hitting a button, maybe. Like you never really know, but you know, just be sure to hit a button that can hit them at that range, so we can look for the follow up and get a combo. Because you know, and I'll have them to stop guarding. And also, if they do get hit by the tether, they always get pulled right next to you. If it's a hit, no matter how far the distance is, they'll be right next to you. So if I get a hit, I like to go for the jab and then the kick afterwards, because they are right next to me. Then knock them up and then do the big damage combo. So when we get the tether, we definitely know we're gonna have to do the tatami mat and to get a knock up, and then we go further with the combo. So get your hit, depending on the distance, right? So we'll have him guard again. If he's next to us, we go for the punch. If he's about this distance, we go for the kick, and then the follow-up, wait a little, and then do the mat. And if he's far, we can just do the forward kick, right? Because we're trying to look for that, we're trying to get that hit so we can, you know, knock him up in the air with the mat and then do our big damage combo. So be aware of the distance. The distance is very important with this, and you know, if your opponent is the one to hit the button first, that's when we start parrying, so that he never tries it again. Now more on the tether. Now I know I said at max distance, if you're far, you can do the kick right here, but that's not something that you should always do, because it's kind of hard to know the distance to do the mat, and then you might not get the counter hit that you're looking for. So there's a better option if you're at max distance with the tether. You could do your backdash. You see how she's floating there? We can get a really quick overhead off of this if we time it right. So if you do it too early while you're floating there, you'll just you can just possibly hit the ground, and you see I hit nothing, and then you'll just be open. Or sometimes you get a hit, but that's unreliable. So know when you're gonna bounce back. See that bounce back? As soon as you know the bounce back is coming, just go hit the slash, and then you can go for your overhead. And also delay that one too, as you can get a counter hit there. So as soon as you pop in, do that. So know your timing. The timing is very important. After you do this a bunch of times, you'll know when. And also, you don't have to go in. You can just wait to see where your opponent reacts, because a lot of times I find myself in like some high flying areas, because like if you jump when you do this, you fly up like that, right? So your opponent might be jumping at you, and if you see him jump, you can jump up and just get an air grab. So jump with him and get your air grab, and you just react to it, which is pretty cool, and it's a good way to demoralize your opponent. And if you're like, the grab is kind of hard to do. It takes like some good timing, but you could also just attack him in the air, and you know, get your combo off of that. Well, don't do that. Do the mat and get you a nice combo. So like this is why I don't like to turn down the tether, because there's so many things you could do from it. And sure, your opponent could do some stuff too, but if they jump with you and you're just catching them with a full combo after that, you know, it's kind of crazy. And you can get the grab, and then you can just get this like instant overhead. Like, she has so much stuff out of this. And then not to forget that we got him here, and then we can just get our combo, and then we get an extended combo because of the tether. So I know I hear it said a lot that you don't want to tether yourself to somebody like Potemkin or something, but you know, you should be ballsy with it. You know, don't be scared, because you get so much damage off the tether that a lot of times it just seems worth it to do. But if you find yourself losing in situations when you have the tether on somebody, or like on certain characters, then you can stop. And you know, just experiment. Try it out on every character, and if it's not working for you, don't tether to them. And if it is, definitely tether to them. Next up, Yosansen. Yeah, now I'm pretty sure I've went over everything that you could possibly do with this move. You already know about the overhead or what you can do after the grab. Well, I guess there's one more thing that I can mention about this. I mean, you can just dash over your opponent and just go for the side switch like that. So you know, it's pretty crafty. You know, you'll catch a lot of people this way, and you could even do a decent combo after that if you use your roaming cancel. You know, just tether. You know, something like that. Well, I guess that one leaves you kind of disconnected, so probably use the kick. There we go. Side switch, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, so then we could just get the side switch and then get a combo reset off of that too. So I guess that's a good. That's definitely a good way to use your meter, as you could just have somebody's health doing that, or get their burst from them. Now, lastly, we have Parry. Our Parry. Now, it's not like the other parries. As you already know, you most likely already know, there's very strict timing to this. So you gotta know when you're about to get hit. Like with Leo's parry, there's some leeway there. Or Anji, even though Anji is using meter, so obviously there's gonna be some leeway on there. But it has to be like some pretty precise timing. So you gotta know. So let's say I do it a little early here. Oh, that was on time. A little early, and then you getting hit. But if you do it on time, you get some good damage. You can even cancel into it, do your Roman cancel combo. That's usually what I do for Roman cancels. I just do the close slash and the 6 HS, and then do the grappling hook afterwards. And don't forget, I want to mention this again. After that, always do the mat afterwards, you know? Just in case you forgot, you made it this far in the video and you forgot, I want to make sure that you remember that part. And, you know, while we got Kai here, we can parry the second part of his thing. So yeah, there's that. Now, lastly, we have the overdrives. Now you know, it's probably good to know the name. I'm not even gonna say that. Surane Sanzu Watsishi. Okay. This is basically what we do on Wake Up. This is our Wake Up in the invincibility. So, you know, our opponent's trying to apply pressure on our Wake Up. We just throw this out. You know, most characters have one, like with the exception of like Zato or some other character. So, you know, we want to defend ourselves on Wake Up. We can parry on Wake Up. I did forget to mention that. We can do parry on Wake Up, but I would not do parry too often, as people are figuring that out and they are working around it. So I would not rely on parry on Wake Up. So if you need to get yourself out of a situation, then I would go with this overdrive instead. And lastly, we have our gun special. We can do it in the air, we can do it in the grab, it fires full screen, we shoot out some fireworks. And here's something interesting. You might not land this often, or maybe at all, but you can do something like this. Hit them in the sky, shoot it, it'll bounce them back to you, and then you can just combo afterwards. You know? So we have that. And also, if you basically it's a good combo ender is what I would use this for. Or if you're trying to catch somebody who's like trying to zone you out and fighting at a range, or you know, you're too scared to go back in, just fire a shot. And here's another combo ender for you. Remember how that heavy slash bounces them very far and can bounce them off the wall? I think it's for that purpose, so you can shoot them afterwards. And this is from mid-screen, so show you again. Boom. So that makes for a great combo ender if you're trying to get them to the wall. And yeah, that's her gun. And that is my guide to Baiken. If you are new to the channel, know that I have guides on all of the characters as well as gameplay for all of the characters. So if you are looking to learn or just looking to have a good time and be entertained, then you found the right place. Leave a like if this video has helped you in any way, and subscribe for daily fighting game content. And if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I'll drink to that.